Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Deep in the Heart of Texas 4-H, the official Texas 4-H podcast. We are so glad that you have joined us for episode 4. Today, we are talking about STEM, all things STEM, the things that you might not know about STEM and the awesome programs that we have through our STEM project. And so I am super excited to talk about this topic with our wonderful 3 guests that we have today. We've got Cassidy Besnay, Ruby Stout, and Travis Bell. How are you guys?
I'm
Doing
doing
well.
good. Doing good.
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great. What is the weather where all of you guys are?
It is sunny out here in Lubbock. It's around, I want to say, like low 80s, so it's a really nice day with a light breeze.
What about you, Travis?
Yep, about the same here in San Angelo, probably slightly warmer, being a
Yeah.
little bit further south.
We are right about that same thing with low 80s, nice breeze. It is just really fall today in College Station, America, and I am loving it. I briefly introduced you guys, but I would love for y'all to tell our followers a little bit more about who you are and where you're at and what you do.
My name is Cassidy Besnay, and I am a junior at Texas Tech majoring in agribusiness with a minor in technical communications. And I am a Texas 4-H STEM collegiate advisor.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ruby. I'm a sophomore at Texas Tech. I'm majoring in human sciences, minoring in Spanish, and I'm on the pre-med track. I think I'm going on my 4th year as a collegiate STEM ambassador.
Yes, so my name's Travis Bell. I'm an extension program specialist, but for the meetings of this podcast, I've been a Texas 4-H STEM ambassador advisor for 3 years, and so just kind of stepping in for Derek today.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we're so glad to have you guys. Definitely going to learn some things from y'all. A lot of combined experience with the STEM project and STEM ambassador program here. So we're going to get into the ambassador part of it here in just a bit, but let's start off with just the STEM 4-H project. So let's talk about the projects in STEM. What would y'all say are the popular ones and then maybe the least popular ones?
STEM covers a wide variety of projects covering from science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And I feel the most popular one we see is probably going to be like your engineering and technology with robotics. At Roundup, we have a robotics competition, and that is a really big competition that takes place in Reed Arena with sumo bots, and they're wrestling and trying to like push each other off a map. I would say that's one of the most popular projects. And I would say one of our like least popular projects within STEM is probably going to be mathematics, just because um, it's a lot harder to like show the public necessarily what that is. But yeah, I would say those are our two like most popular and least popular.
Yeah, and Derek Bruton, excuse me, the Texas 4-H STEM specialist couldn't be here today, but I know he would want us to say, in his view, the STEM is the part that holds the Clover up, and STEM is in every project area, and so really there's no project area in 4-H that you can do without doing STEM. So it's engulfed in everything we do, which makes it a very easy project to do and also very hard to figure out sometimes, because I think it confuses and intimidates a lot of people.
You brought up an excellent point, Travis, that it overlaps with so many projects. And I think a lot of our 4-H projects have the ability to do that. But what are some of those specific ways in which they might overlap? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Some specific ways that STEM overlaps with our other big 5 project areas is STEM is in agriculture with when we have these ginormous tractors that are GPS driven. That's going to involve using science and technology to make these tractors. And then also with trying to figure out how to feed a growing population, but with less amount of land. You're going to use STEM into that of trying to figuring out how to grow plants in a more urban setting, which is a lot of STEM of trying to figure out how the technology for that's going to work and the engineering and even the science behind trying to grow more crops with less resources. And then STEM is also incorporated into family consumer sciences. With vegetable canning, for example, you're preserving vegetables, and that's going to involve a lot of science and technology in that. And also with like your clothing and textiles, trying to make clothing out of recyclable materials, for example, is going to be incorporating STEM. So STEM is in a lot of our major project areas. We just don't necessarily recognize it as STEM.
Something that I always like to mention is that with all of our people who show animals, when you're giving your animals vaccines, like someone's having to develop those vaccines and test those vaccines. When you're trying to figure out, what to feed your animal, there's like a nutrition science behind that. So there's aspects of STEM in every project area of 4-H, even if you don't always see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with what y'all are saying. And just for the folks at home who might not have seen the full list, under our STEM project area, we've got computer science, energy, photography, robotics, rocketry and aerospace, STEM, and videography. So there is really a wide range of things that fall under this project area, and essentially everything you're doing involves one or more of these activities. One that I always find really interesting is the rocketry and aerospace. And I know that recently, the STEM ambassadors have played a part in our Night at NASA experience. Can any of y'all talk about that?
The night at NASA that the STEM ambassadors put on is held every other year, and it's a really cool experience that that the STEM ambassadors, but also other youth in Texas 4-H can experience. And you show up, and right as kind of like the Johnson Space Center is kind of closing down, and they have their staff come out and set up like workstations, and you go throughout these workstations and you do science experiments, or just experiments that have to pertain to like rocketry and outer space. So, for example, one year we had a station where you had a marshmallow and you were given certain supplies, and you had to figure out how to keep your marshmallow from being melted by a torch. And the supplies that you were given was going to replicate like a heat tile, and you were going to try to figure out how to reflect the heat off of the marshmallow so that way your astronaut marshmallow wouldn't melt when it came in contact with like the heat torch. And then the next morning you get up and you go have a tour of Johnson Space Center, and then you kind of mingle on, and that kind of ends the night. But it's a really cool experience where I would say I never got to experience until I was a part of the STEM ambassadors, but that I definitely recommend to 4-Hers of all ages.
Awesome. Yeah, I just see the pictures after that event ends, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, it just blows my mind that we have access to that. It's so unique. So, Ruby and Cassidy, you guys were in 4-H for a long time, and you're still around it as adult volunteers now. What STEM projects did you guys do?
I would say that I didn't have like the most traditional path with like STEM projects through 4-H necessarily. Um, when I started showing animals, I thought I was going to be a veterinarian, and so I incorporated like STEM into my other project areas. I was interested in like, well, what am I feeding my animals? Why am I feeding them these things? When it came time for rounds of vaccinations, like I wanted to do it, and I wanted to know like where to get the vaccinations, when to get the vaccinations. I wanted to know everything about that. So I kind of incorporated STEM into like other projects that I like did already. With like public speaking, I talked about one of my I think one of my favorite speeches that I did was about how young children get into like club sports from a young age and can get chronic injuries from playing the same sport repeatedly over and over again from a super young age. Um, then when I got into the STEM ambassadors, that's when I kind of started like diversifying, I guess you could say. I was able to like host a STEM summer camp, and that was a lot of fun. It was with children ages third grade to fifth grade, and we did different aspects of like forensic science. So we had like fingerprints and hair strands and that kind of thing. It was a lot of fun. They really enjoyed it. Got to lead. One day I led like a banana suture clinic, so we did sutures on bananas. I did that with the STEM ambassadors. It was a lot of fun. But once I joined the STEM ambassadors is when I got exposed to a lot of other aspects of STEM.
I would say I had the same non-traditional, I guess, experience with the STEM project. I did not get involved into the STEM project until later in my 4-H career, probably going into my junior year. I had seen like videos of what the STEM ambassadors did at Roundup, and I was really intrigued by that. So I applied to be a STEM ambassador. And it wasn't until our fall training that I was really exposed to what STEM really was and how I could apply it to other aspects in my 4-H career, I guess, and other projects. And once I realized that I was able to incorporate that, I was able to host a monthly STEM night every month in my county where we would have a different experiment or rotation set up for kids of all ages that were in my county. One night we did extracting strawberry DNA, and that was a really cool getting to see kids reactions to actually seeing real life DNA and them understanding that this is just a smaller scale of what's inside us. Yeah, that's kind of my story of how I got into STEM.
I love that. And I mean, we were just talking about how projects overlap, and that's how you found the STEM project in itself. And I think that that's a really great testament to just being involved as much as you can, and seeing how all of these things can help get you, where you want to be. And on that note, how do you feel like your involvements in 4-H really helped prepare you for the future and where you're at now and where you're going to be after college?
I have always said that 4-H prepared me for everything outside of high school, and I've always said that I wouldn't be where I was without 4-H. 4-H gave me so many professional development skills that kids in college are just now learning, but I've had them or have been learning them for almost 10 years now. And 4-H also provided me with a lot of career development and preparation as well, of exposing me to many different careers, whether it be in agriculture, whether it be in STEM, or just careers that I never even thought existed. And so it kind of allowed me to have more of a like developed and thought out plan of where I wanted to go in life. But then also 4-H taught me how to just be a nice, like caring person who wanted to, and the importance of giving back to the people who gave to you and to your community. And I feel like that's something very dear to my heart because when I got to college, I immediately wanted to get involved in an organization whose like mission was to give back to your community. So I would definitely say I'm not where I would be if it wasn't for 4-H.
Yeah, that is a really awesome testament to how, whether you're in it for 10 years or you're in it for 1 year, there's something that you can gain, and it's going to help propel you in the future, right? And so you two have both talked quite a bit, and Travis has as well, about the STEM ambassador program. So let's transition there real quick. So y'all have talked a lot about the STEM ambassador program, all three of you to some extent. We also have our junior master photographer and photography ambassador program, where youth can really learn their way around a camera in that JMP program, get the basics, and then go on to be a photography ambassador, where they go even more in depth and then teach others how to take photos, take quality photos, um, edit quality photos. And they've even started going on some international trips to further expand their cultural knowledge as well as their technical knowledge around a camera. And so that ambassador program is teaching youth about photography specifically. Can the three of you tell me a little bit more about the STEM ambassador program?
The STEM Ambassadors is a state level leadership position through 4-H. It's for freshmen through seniors in high school. It's a really cool program. You're able to come in with all different areas of STEM knowledge and levels of expertise. You can come in not knowing a whole bunch, or you can come in being what I've met a couple of people who are almost an expert in, what they love to do. What our kind of mission is to equip our STEM ambassadors with knowledge on different areas of STEM so that they can go back to their counties and to their clubs and then go and spread the word about STEM.
We also try to provide opportunities for our ambassadors to learn about other areas in STEM that they might not be as well versed in. And then what we're widely known for is our participation in Roundup. At Roundup, we film and put together newscast videos every night that kind of capture Roundup as a whole, from contests to man on the street interviews.
One of the other things that the STEM ambassadors do during Roundup is we have a booth during the trade show, and that's for 4-Hers and their families to come up. We have a lot of really cool trinkets to mess around with. This past year, we had 3 ambassadors present a presentation over ways to get your club involved in STEM.
Yes, we also provide our ambassadors with some trip opportunities. Our ambassadors can be selected to go to the California 4-H State Leadership Conference, and there they will do the exact same thing that we do at Roundup of filming a newscast from things and events that were going on at the California State Leadership Conference. And they will also do a workshop there. This is our first year that we are doing an international trip to Europe that we are really excited about. And we are really excited to give our ambassadors the opportunity to learn about different cultures and just expose them to more things outside of just Texas.
Man, this sounds fun. I want to be a STEM ambassador. I wish this was around when I was in 4-H years ago. Y'all always seemed really cool, but this all makes it seem like even better. So, uh, thanks for giving us a little insight to everything that happens within that program. So, we're going to be celebrating National 4-H Week soon. It's October 6th through 12th, and the theme this year is Beyond Ready. So, how 4-H presents opportunities for youth to become beyond ready for whatever it is they choose to do with their life. How is the STEM Ambassador Program, or just STEM in general, preparing youth for real careers in their future?
Something that I think is really cool for kids that are involved in STEM is the job market for STEM is everly growing. There are tons of jobs that need to be filled, but there's not enough people to fill them. So there's a lot of job opportunities for kids in STEM, and I think the STEM ambassadors do a great job of exposing kids to all career or many different career avenues in STEM. And Derek does a great job of bringing in people for us to talk about career opportunities. And he gives us a lot of exposure to different STEM companies and STEM internships or things like that that could provide a job for us. And our program itself does a really good job of doing anything we can to prepare our STEM ambassadors professionally for their career. And they did a great job with me because, like I said, I would not be where I am in my professional life, I guess, without STEM. So we try to do a good job of preparing our ambassadors for life outside 4-H and in the real world.
Well, I learned a lot today, and I know that our listeners learned a lot today, and are inspired to go see how STEM might overlap. So before we move into kind of our wrapping up and some dates to look forward to, do y'all have anything else that you want to add on the topic of STEM?
Mainly, don't be afraid of STEM. If you want to host a STEM project or start a STEM, start a robotics project, start a photography project, anything to do with STEM, reach out to your agent, reach out to our Facebook page, or go to the Texas 4-H main website, and under the STEM page, we have posted a lot of links to our newscasts, videos, as well as one page ideas on starting STEM and doing STEM experiments in your own county. So, and also be on the lookout for more. We will be posting more and more throughout the years of opportunities for kids to start STEM projects in their own counties.
Perfect. And the STEM ambassador application comes out in the summer. Is that correct?
Yes, so we try to really, our main goal is to have it out July 1, and it'll be due, and then due July 31st. We're kind of a unique program. We don't, a lot of the other ambassador programs are able to be a lot bigger. We're only able to usually take about 30 to 40 kids at most. So if you apply and you don't get it, we always encourage kids to try to kind of build their resume up in their own county and then try again next year. Because what we're trying to do is bring a group in, train them, give them some tools to go back in their counties, and then they can go and do things in their counties, and let's get some new kids up and get them exposed to it. So we're kind of a revolving group that way we can kind of make a bigger reach without having 400 kids at one time.
Sweet. Well, we will keep our eyes out for that next July. Thanks for sharing with us, you guys. Before we let everyone go, just a few upcoming things to remember. Don't forget to report on your one-day 4-H projects or plan your one-day 4-H projects. If you haven't made a plan for that, figure out a way to just give back to your community. See what you can do in one day and then tell us about it. Tag us in your South Plains Fair, Hot Fair, and State Fair of Texas posts so that we can celebrate with you. Mark your calendars for Kendra Scott Gives Back, October 11th and 12th. You can shop online on the 11th and the 12th to give 20% back to 4-H, or shop in person from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on October 12th, again, to give back. Just mention 4-H at the register, and then check out the Texas 4-H social media pages for the code to use online. And then we mentioned it before, but National 4-H Week is coming up October 7th through 12th. Again, that theme is Beyond Ready. So start making plans on how you're going to celebrate that in your own county, or with your own club. How 4-H can make you beyond ready, or maybe how it has already made you beyond ready. If you're an alumni, send us a message and tell us what you're planning to do. Utilize the resources that we have on our Texas 4-H website. There are tons of STEM resources, again, on that Texas 4-H website. So be sure to go check those out. And send us a DM on the Texas 4-H Youth Development Program, Facebook or Instagram. Give us a question that you'd like us to answer on air. Give us some ideas. Give us feedback on what you love or maybe don't from this podcast. We can't wait to hear from you. So before we let you guys go, there's one thing we have to do. It's what we do every week around here. What is our top 4-H tip of the day?
I would say that our top 4-H tip of the day is to not say no. Try everything you can in 4-H while you can. You never know what you may end up liking.
I totally agree with that, Ruby. Couldn't agree more. Well, thanks for being here again. Y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all later.